to look back to the Europa League final on Wednesday when Chelsea delivered in a big way in the end. Liam Brady, I thought Arsenal started very brightly, Liam. Certainly very positively looking to win the match, whereas Chelsea looked a bit sort of defensive, but they couldn't sustain it. Didn't get the goal maybe when they needed it early on.
That's right. Chelsea weren't too impressive in that first 20, 25 minutes. And Arsenal were undoubtedly the better team. But, as you say, didn't take the opportunity when they were dominant. And, when half-time came, Chelsea came out with a different proposition and Arsenal collapsed. And, the stark reality is that this Arsenal team is nowhere good enough to be even thinking about getting in the top four next year. There'll have to be major changes if that's going to happen. I don't think he can do it with the squad of players he has at the moment. And major changes have to be made. Now, whether they will or not is another matter. But certainly a worrying time for Arsenal and Arsenal supporters.
Yeah, John, you got it right in your prediction. You thought Chelsea would be stronger than them, and they were in the end. But we were talking during the match, and it is true to say that Arsenal made a very bright, positive start.
They did, Eamon. There's no doubt about that. Couldn't maintain it, and as Liam says, you say second half, Chelsea really ran all over them. They were far too good for them in the second half. I think, again, it comes down to, you can start well, but I think the key thing was what they had in midfield in Chelsea in relation to Arsenal. Xhaka, Ozil. Torreira's a good lad, he has a go, but I look at it like Kante, Kovacic, Willian, Jorginho, Pedro, they were their midfield players. I don't think Chelsea have one midfield player as good as that five, Eamon.
Yes.
And the one thing about Chelsea, they were honest. I don't think Arsenal were honest. Xhaka, Ozil, particularly, and that's carrying two players. Okay,
yes.
When they're on top, they're okay and they have skill, but when it comes to a real fight, they don't have it, Eamon. And we talked about before the match about the two up front, the danger people for Arsenal, and they had to be. They have to be fed. I don't think they got much, Eamon, to be quite honest.
Yeah.
But ultimately, I thought the second half, Hazard and Chelsea generally were outstanding. Arsenal still had a couple of chances, but really, I think in the end they got what they deserved.
Yeah, Liam, there's reports in the paper this morning that because they're not in the Champions League now, Unai Emery will have 45 million max to go into the transfer market with. There is some talk about maybe he might not keep his job, but I don't know about that. But with 45 million and the problem they face in terms of players, it's going to be a long road back for Arsenal from here.
Well, it is. 45 million goes nowhere now in the present transfer market, Eamon. And unless the scouting department come up with some real gems, and that hasn't been the case for a long, long time. I can't see it happening, and there's no money to generate from the sale of players.
No,
unless you sell the front two or one of the front two. I think they're the only players you could actually retrieve the money back that you spent on them.
Yeah.
On the others, I don't think you would. And that's why I think they're short 6 players. 45 million. If you're looking for 6 players to come in, you've got no chance. So
too much, no.
I think the spotlight's gone to, and the Arsenal fans know this. They're under no illusions because they've watched this team, not only under Emery, but they've watched them under Wenger as well. And John's so right that they've no backbone, and they're carrying 2 or 3 players all the time. Mkhitaryan is another one I throw into that mix. That's not an honest player. With Ozil and Xhaka. So they really, really have problems. And the spotlight, I'm sure, is going to turn onto the owner before too long to see, how he's going to react. The word is that he's only going to spend what he generates. And if that's the case, well, I can see Arsenal, not being in the Champions League for quite a while.
Okay, just a final thought to you, John. two English clubs in the final, only one English player on the pitch. That was the young Arsenal right back, who I think is a very good player, Nathan Miles. I thought he played really well, but it's an astonishing sign of the world of football when Chelsea are playing Arsenal and there's one English-born person on the pitch.
Yeah, I think we spoke about it a while back, Eamon. It's difficult for young players to come through. They're getting a few through England, but it's very, very difficult. Lads get to, as we know, as ex-players, you get to really 17, 18, 19 particularly. You want to be getting in the first team.
Yeah.
And I think if that passes, if you're not getting it 19, to get to 2021, I think lads lose interest, Eamon, or they lose confidence, but the old thing was get in at 17, 18, 19, not on a regular basis maybe, but certainly get in and you prove that you can do it. I don't think English lads get a chance now.
No,
that's
Liam,
the way it is. It's instant. It's instant, Damien. You can't wait for players now.
No,
it has to be, straight away doing it. And Liam says in Arsenal's case now, if you don't have the money now, you're not going to be able to do it. And if you're talking about 45 grand, you get a top player's big toe for that, Eamon.
Yeah, Liam, you ran Arsenal's youth system for a very long time, and there definitely is a problem now is for Irish young players, for English young players, with the top clubs, of breaking into the team and getting experience, which you need. And that stat from the other night, one player, English-born, underlines a real blockage there. If they need a player, they go out and spend money.
Yeah, well, that's not always the solution. Sometimes when the younger players get a chance, they can prove themselves. But it's very difficult for a young player, as John says, to get into a top outfit, top six side now.
Yeah.
Look at Liverpool. They've got the Trent Alexander. He's the only one really in the last 5, 6, 7 years to come through the Liverpool academy and get in. He's an exceptional player, as you mentioned. Maitland-Niles, Hudson-Odoi at Chelsea, and Loftus-Cheek. Although Loftus-Cheek now is 22.
Yes,
they're only odds and bods. It's very difficult to get 4 or 5 like Alex Ferguson did so many years ago when that class of 92 came along. The football landscape has changed. As John said, people want instant. It has to be instant and instant results, and they don't. Not many managers trust the young players. So it is a problem, but there's plenty of good young players coming through the English system. Some of them are in Germany at the moment. Some of them are in the Championship, and I think eventually they will come through.
Right.
But until they have that experience under the belt, a lot of these managers are not going to play them.
Okay.